Thank you for coming back to our channel, Legends Leaving. We made a list of the famous actors who died today and put it in this memorial video. Those famous people who will be missed but who made important contributions to their works have sadly died today. I'm sorry for the family and all the fans lost. Take a break. Thank you for watching our movie. If you want to show your love, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Ralph Pierre Lacocque was born on March 30th, 1926 in Huntington, West Virginia. They went by the stage name Peter Marshall. His mother was a singer and his sister, Joanne Drew, was an actress. He grew up in a show business home. During World War II, Marshall joined the U.S. Navy when he was only 17. He learned how to be an entertainer by taking part in different service shows. After the war, he went into show business and changed his name to Peter Marshall so that people wouldn't mix him up with Pete Lecoq, a famous baseball player at the time. Since the late 1940s and early 1950s, Marshall's main job was as a singer in a big band. Because of his deep baritone voice, he got parts in musical theater, even on Broadway in shows like Skyscraper and Ella K. Joe Foles. However, it was his move to TV that made him famous to a lot of people. In 1966, he was picked to host the new game show, The Hollywood Squares. This was the most important job of his career. Marshall was a popular TV figure because of his quick wit, charm, and laid-back attitude. He was the host of the show for 15 years until 1981. During that time, The Hollywood Squares became one of the most famous and long-running game shows in the United States. Marshall did a lot of different things in the entertainment business after The Hollywood Squares. His roles in nearly 50 TV shows, movies, and Broadway shows were varied. Guest roles on TV shows like Love, American Style, and The Odd Couple were among his work. His other jobs included being a radio host, hosting several other game shows, and continuing to sing. People knew Marshall for decades because he was talented and could do many things well. Marshall's personal life was marked by several marriages. His most important marriage was to Laurie Stewart, whom he loved deeply. This man had 4 kids. One of them, Pete Lecoq, played professional baseball. In his later years, Marshall stayed involved in the entertainment business. He would sometimes go back to TV and radio, but he also liked living a quieter life away from the press. He was 98 years old when he died on August 15, 2024. His death was the end of an era for many people who grew up watching The Hollywood Squares and thought of his voice and appearance as being linked to the best days of TV game shows. Marshall made a big impact on American entertainment, especially with his work on game shows. He is still known as one of the most famous hosts in TV history. 4. Grace Benkowski was born in Chicago, Illinois on February 14, 2002. She is a young writer with a lot of potential. Benkowski was interested in stories and journalism from a very young age. She often wrote for her high school newspaper and participated in school news events. Because she loved journalism so much, she went to Northwestern University's Medill School of Journalism, which is one of the best news schools in the country. There she did very well in both schoolwork and real-life reporting. She got experience while she was at Northwestern by doing internships at local news sites. She was praised for how well she could investigate things and be interesting on camera. She quickly made a name for herself in the tough field of broadcast journalism after finishing with honors in 2023. NewsNation hired her. NewsNation is a new cable news network that is known for offering fair reporting. Benkowski started working for the network as a reporter when she was only 21 years old. She quickly made a name for herself by being dedicated, professional, and able to connect with viewers. Her work was mostly about telling stories that showed the human side of news, drawing attention to problems that weren't getting enough attention, and giving people who weren't getting enough attention a voice. Benkowski's way of reporting was marked by her ability to understand, be curious, and always look for the truth. Even though she was young, Benkowski was seen as NewsNation's next big thing. Her poise and maturity were admired by both coworkers and viewers, and she was seen as one of the network's most potential young stars. Many people thought she would become one of the most important figures in journalism, and her future in the field looked bright. Throughout her career, Benkowski showed a strong work ethic and a sincere love for her work, which came through in every story she told. Grace Benkowski's sad life ended on August 15, 2024, when she was in a train accident in Chicago that killed her. She was only 22 years old. People in and outside of journalism were shocked when they heard about her untimely death. Friends, family, coworkers, and viewers all mourned the loss of a young woman who had already made such an important mark in her field. There was no telling what she could do, and her death left a void that everyone who knew her felt very strongly. The stories Benkowski told and the people she helped during her short but important work as a journalist will live on. The things she did professionally are remembered, but so are her kindness, warmth, and the love she brought to everything she did. The sudden death of Grace Benkowski is a sad reminder of how short life is and how much of an effect one person can have in a short amount of time. 3. Chris Gregory Keane, better known as Greg Keane, was born in Baltimore, Maryland on July 10, 1949. Keane loved music from a very young age. He learned to play the guitar and started writing songs when he was a teenager. He went to California in the early 1970s after graduating from high school. The lively music scene in the Bay Area inspired him to become a rock musician. Folk rock and the new punk movement were some of Keane's early musical inspirations. They all helped him create his own unique sound. The Greg Keane Band was formed by Keane in 1976. The band was famous for its upbeat shows and catchy songs. The band quickly signed with the Berserkly Records label after getting a lot of fans in the Bay Area. The band's big break in the early 1980s was due to Keane's songwriting skills and his ability to make pop rock songs. Their biggest hits, the breakup song They Don't Write AM in 1981 and Jeopardy in 1983, were played on the radio all the time and made Keane a famous name in power pop and rock music. One of their songs, Jeopardy, got to No. 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, which was the height of their financial success. Keane's singing career took off, but he also tried his hand at other kinds of art. He started writing horror and thriller books in the 1990s. He had always liked this type of writing. People liked his books like Horror Show and Big Rock Beat, which showed how good he was at telling stories in different ways. From being a musician to writing novels, Keane showed how versatile he was and how he could fascinate people in a variety of forms. Keane was well known in the San Francisco Bay Area for his work in radio and books as well as music and writing. He was the host of the morning show on KFOX for more than 10 years. His interest in rock history and his friendly nature made him a fan favorite. Keane's work on the radio made him even more of a culture icon in the area by bringing together music, literature, and broadcasting. He was 75 years old when he died on August 13, 2024. For many people who grew up listening to his songs and reading his books, his death was the end of an era. Keane had a huge impact on rock music, especially in the 1980s. His gifts to the arts were praised by both fans and artists who worked with him. People remember him not only for his #1 hits, but also for how he changed as an artist and found new ways to connect with fans across multiple channels. Many people still remember Greg Keane as a singer, writer, and radio host, which shows how much he changed American pop culture. 2. David Michael Niccolemi was born in Evansville, Indiana on September 9, 1946. He is an American actor best known for his iconic part as Stephen Flyboy Andrews in George A. Rowe's groundbreaking horror film Dawn of the Dead. From a young age, Emmy had a strong interest in the arts. After finishing high school, he went to the well-known Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh to study theater and the performing arts. As Emmy got better at what he did at Carnegie Mellon, he built a good base for acting on stage and in movies. After finishing, Emmy first worked in regional theater, where she performed in shows all over the United States. Filmmakers were interested in him because he worked hard at his job and gave his characters depth, which got him a part in Dawn of the Dead in 1978. The movie, which was directed by George A. Romero and mixed social comments with scary scenes, was a landmark in the horror genre. The story of the movie revolved around Ed McGee's performance as Stephen Flyboy Andrews, a helicopter pilot who is one of the survivors of the zombie apocalypse. His acting showed the hopelessness and determination of a man trying to stay alive in a world full of zombies. A lot of people really liked Dawn of the Dead and Ed McGee's part, as Flyboy made him a legend in the history of horror films. Emigi stayed out of the spotlight for the most part in the years after Dawn of the Dead, even though it was a big hit. Even though he kept acting in independent films and a few TV shows, he never tried to get as famous as his part in Romero's movie could have made him. Instead, Emmy picked a quieter life where he could focus on his own interests and keep involved in regional theater. He sometimes went to horror conventions where fans of the genre who loved his work in Dawn of the Dead welcomed him with open arms. In his life and work, David Amish showed a lot of respect for acting as an art form and commitment to his skill. His performance as Flyboy is still one of the most memorable in horror films, and both fans and reviewers have praised his contributions to the genre. On January 20th, 2024, David Michael Emmy died. Fans of horror films and other genres paid respect to him after he died. They remembered him for his work in Dawn of the Dead and for how hard he worked at being an actor. Emig is remembered with love as an actor who made a lasting mark on the horror genre and played a key role in one of the most important horror films of all time. James Christopher McLaughlin was born on December 22, 1940, in Derry, Northern Ireland. He is better known as Jim McLaughlin. McLaughlin was naturally good at football from a young age, which made him want to make a living playing the game. He started out as a professional player as a forward in the late 1950s. His skill, drive, and ability to score goals made him famous. In his early years, McLaughlin played for a number of sides in Northern Ireland. After moving to England, he joined well-known teams such as Shrewsbury Town, Swansea City, and Peterborough United. The best time for McLaughlin as a player was when he played for Dundalk FC in the League of Ireland and became an important part of the team's attack. He was a fan favorite because he could score goals, and he was very important to Dundalk's success in the 1960s. His skills on the pitch were matched by his ability to lead others, which made it easy for him to move into management after he stopped playing. In the 1970s, McLaughlin started out as a manager in the League of Ireland, working with Dundalk FC. He quickly became one of the best and most successful coaches in the history of the league. McLaughlin's management style was marked by a focus on control, teamwork, and being aware of the situation at hand. Because he knew how to get the most out of his players, Dundalk won many league and cup titles, including the League of Ireland Premier Division in 1976, 1979, and 1982. Under his direction, Dundalk also made big steps forward in European games, which helped the club become known outside of Ireland. Once McLaughlin was done with Dundalk, he went on to lead other League of Ireland teams, such as Shamrock Rovers, where he continued to win trophies. At Shamrock Rovers, he won 4 straight league titles from 1984 to 1987, which cemented his standing as one of the best managers in Irish football history. In the League of Ireland, his accomplishments made him a famous figure, and he was admired for being a smart tactician who could put together winning teams. His death date was August 15, 2024, and he was 83 years old. His death was a big loss for football fans because he did so much for the League of Ireland. People remember McLaughlin with a lot of respect and admiration for his work as both a player and a boss. His impact on Irish football, especially his skill to find and develop talented players, will last for a long time in the clubs he worked for and the players he coached. Jim McLaughlin is still a respected figure in Irish football history. He is remembered for how well he played and how well he led from the sidelines. Simon Cowell was born in London, England, October 7, 1959. He is a British TV director, music executive, and talent show judge. He started out in the music business as a record producer and talent hunter. Eventually, he started his own record label called Psycho Music. He became famous all over the world as a judge on talent shows like America's Got Talent, Pop Idol, and The X Factor. Cowell was a big deal in reality TV and had a big effect on the entertainment business because of how blunt and often harsh his criticisms were. In addition to his work on TV, Cowell has been a big part of the careers of many famous artists, such as Leona Lewis and One Direction. However, despite his tough on-screen image, he is also known for helping many charities and causes. Cowell's work has been full of both huge successes and personal problems. In 2020, he hurt his back badly in an accident involving an electric bike. Today, He is still a well-known person in the entertainment industry, but he also takes time to focus on his health and well-being.